When I took care of like the inmates at Cook County, they gave me a lot of respect because I told them, I said, listen, motherfucker, I'm going to be the son of a bitch that is going to have a saw in his hand and a knife, and you want me thinking positive thoughts about your sorry ass when I'm fixing you.
It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
Yep, it's me, James Van Alstyne, host of Car con Carne, which is part of the Yak Channel podcast network, an awesome podcast collective of Chicago-centric podcasts. Check it out, listen, subscribe, tell a friend, yakchannel.com. So my guest this week is Doctor Dan Ivankovich. Dan is a world-class doctor. He is one of CNN's Heroes of the Year for 2015. Huge honor for him. He's also a world-class blues man. And as we find at the start of the show, he's also a very large man. So the real adventure here is getting a 6'10" man into the front seat of a Mazda 3.
Yeah, I had to get mayonnaise on my body just to slide in this door.
You're the first person we had to lube up.
Slick 50 and just a handful of other synthetic lubricants. But I'm in. I'm a little moist, but I'm in.
Dan Ivankovich, what a pleasure to have you here, the blues doctor.
That's it, right here, Chi-Town, baby, West Roosevelt. We're in the thick of things.
We are in the thick of things, right outside White Palace Grill, a Chicago institution, a legend, really. It's been here since like 1939.
Forever. I way before I was here.
Superman was new when White Palace Grill opened up shop in Chicago.
It was the hot thing, and I'm pretty sure that cocaine was still in Coca-Cola, which I'm glad that we don't have in ours right now.
Although you went full sugar on your Coca-Cola tonight.
I had to make a choice, and I did go full sugar, and I had to lube up my cup because that was sitting on the sidewalk, and I had to pull that in after I entered the vehicle.
So White Palace Grill, total diner. You got like breakfast food, you got appetizers, and I got a Monte Cristo, which is a classic.
Oh yeah,
a diner classic.
I did. I'll get you some Rolaids after we're done. You're going to need them.
You know what blows my mind? You are a dyed-in-the-wool Chicago guy.
I love Chicago.
This area, this South Loop area, unrecognizable from, say, 15 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, this is sort of the extension, the Roosevelt extension of what was sort of that Maxwell Street district. And 15 years ago, I used to go here and get the used police leather jackets over at Kale Uniforms. It was a bunch of funky shops. This is where the pimps, the athletes, the musicians hung and shopped. And right now, you wouldn't even recognize it. It's like
it's Bed Bath & Beyond and Whole Foods.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, Whole Foods. I mean, can you imagine Whole Foods here in like 1995? They would have freaked out.
I remember as a kid coming down to Manny's, which is right around the corner.
Oh yeah,
and I'd
one of the greats.
One of the greats. And I'd come down with my family, and there would be nothing to see. Like, this was a don't park on the street, kids. This is.
But the food was great. Manny's was up until when they left the strip there. That was the place to go chow. People drove miles to eat there.
Love it. That's the reason to fly through Midway as opposed to O'Hare.
Oh,
they have a Manny's.
They got a Manny's. I mean, up at O'Hare, all you can get is a kind of a Sonic tater tot. But here at Manny's, you get the real deal.
Yeah, at O'Hare you get Let's Hop and Nod, but Midway you get Harry Carey's.
True.
You get Chicago stuff.
The real deal, and then George's music. Load up on your tunes.
Yes, it's so true. All right, so let's talk about you as the doctor part of Dr. Dan. Tell me, I guess, in broad strokes, tell me about the CNN Heroes of the Year.
I mean, that was one of those shocks where, you're just kind of hanging out. You're at the office finishing up your patients, and they got a call for you, Doc. And I'm like, who's this? I had no idea. Unfamiliar number. It was from New York, and they just said, you're going to be one of our CNN heroes for 2015. And that was, had to sit down, cool myself, open up a smelling salts. And, you never realize or think that an entity like that is aware of you, but they had been watching our work and keeping a close eye on our initiatives in Chicago for several years, and decided that that was the year they were going to make it real for me.
And I should backtrack. The work you do, you should explain.
Well, everyone tries to ask me, what is it that you do? And, I'm a healer. The way that I heal people is through empowerment, education, and when the need is necessary, I am a orthopedic spine and reconstructive surgeon. I do trauma, joint replacements, and I do a lot of spine surgery. And I made my mission when I entered the medical space was that I was going to make a difference for people that needed my care the most, and I've tried to live by that every day. And now 20 years later into my career, it just seems like it's growing, it's bigger and badder every day. And it was really just starting out with a concept that predated health reform. I mean, health reform to me meant that if you need care, you should not be denied, and we'll do our best to help you. And it's kind of taken off from there.
So you take care of people who need it regardless of ability to pay.
That's really been the mantra. I mean, the one thing that I have had to, revisit that makes it challenging is, we relied so extensively on partnership with governmental entities, but, Illinois is in some pretty crazy arrears between, Illinois being $122 billion in the hole, Chicago, $24 billion in Cook County. So, I'm still 6'10", 300 pounds, but even as big as I am, I cannot carry the weight of Chicago on my back, though I do carry a lot. We don't turn people away, but we do it to the best of our ability because, treating people medically is, it's still resource driven. And, we've been trying to do what many of the hospitals can't, what many of the health systems don't. But, it's still about taking care of people and doing it one patient at a time so that the person that you are with, they are your whole world, you are their whole world, and together we transform lives.
And you didn't set up shop in Wilmette or Winnetka.
That would have been too easy, and I probably would have slipped my wrist. I mean, nothing against Wilmette, but you got to wear a tie, you got to wear wingtip, funky yuppie shoes. What is it, loafers? I mean, I get to wear my patients call these my thug scrubs. I never thought of it that way, but I can.
You do have a kind of a biker vibe going on.
And they catch on to that, and it is, but it's just because we go with the black. I've got the, just the. We represent what we do. We got the Bone Squad on the right. I got the One Patient Global Health Initiative on the left. I got my Chicago flag. I got my U.S. flag. I got my Croatia flag near my heart. And, it's a billboard of our empowerment. But, yeah, being in black and being big, what do they usually say? Either are you a wrestler? I mean, that's always the first thing. They think that I'm the Big Show. And I always tell him that that's my cousin because, Big Show's about 7 feet. He's got about an inch and a half and about 150 pounds on me. But I guess with the shaved head and the goatee, every little kid, they'll be pointing at me, go, Mom, look, there go the Big Show. And so, that, then they think, either we're there to beat them up or we're there to rob them or we're there to beat them up or they think I'm a cop. So, but it's fun. I mean, they know the minute they hear me talk that it's all good. I'm there for them.
But my point being, you're not in the North Shore. I mean, you dropped yourself in the middle of some tough areas.
Well, I mean, if you look at the demographics, Chicago is home to 5 of the most challenged communities in America, and that's not even including Robbins, Illinois, which I do get a lot of patients from there. Robbins is the second most challenged community in the United States. But you look at places like, Roseland, Englewood, North Lawndale, Humboldt Park, Austin. These places have been war zones since we've been kids here, I mean, this has not gotten better, and that's where they needed me. I mean, at one point in these communities, I was the lone orthopedic surgeon providing care, and the area that I covered was over 500,000 people in Chicago. So, it was my PAs always used to draw the picture of me like Atlas with the globe on my back. And it was fun, though, 24/7 on call, hundreds of surgeries a year. And it was a great time. I mean, it was a ton of work, but it was very rewarding personally. And we had a blast. We got to eat food and play music at some of the most over-the-top places. And I got to tell you, these neighborhoods, for a guy like me who loves, dives and loves soul food, I have eaten at the greatest of the great when it comes to soul food.
I'm going to draw a parallel here between The Purge Election Day. I enjoyed the Purge trilogy. During the Purge, the people who drive around in medical vehicles are kind of given a pass. Like no one tries to hurt the people driving medical vehicles. Is that kind of your situation, being in the middle of these war zones where, well, it's Dr. Dan. He's here to help. Let's leave him alone.
Well, I think when I had the Bone Mobile, that's kind of why I created it. The Bone Mobile was a 2007 Dodge Magnum SRT that had the Lamborghini doors. I had sirens. I had cop lights that were basically ambulance lights. I had 24-inch rims. The thing was 600 horsepower with a blower. So we had both respect because I had the insignias with the emergency vehicle, but I also had the mega street cred of it being a Magnum. Like whenever I would go, dudes would be taking pictures of the car. They'd want me to open the door and come out. It was a big production. When I would roll into a hospital, there'd usually be 10 or 15 people waiting just to see the car. And so they knew it was me. They knew what I did. And then the weird thing is, so I go to churches all over Chicago, not Church's Chicken, but actually churches.
Thank you for clarifying.
To do outreach and to do events. And it was amazing to me as we got deeper and deeper into doing this, at 5 years, 10 years, 15, I can walk into any church in Chicago. People will walk up, they go, hey, you took care of my mom, or you took care of my brother, you took care of my son. So I feel like I'm probably within 1 or 2 degrees of separation of everybody in Chicago.
I love it. All right, should we start eating as we talk?
You know what? The stuff I ordered, man, is looking tight. I want to get some of those fried mushrooms.
Ooh. I want to get into this Monte Cristo, which I tucked in the back seats. Nope, that's not it. Grab your food if you can.
I don't know if I can. This Coke is like wedged between my knees. I might have to open the window and have that guy hold my stuff while I'm moving it around.
Today is a challenging day for Car Con Carne. Dan is not a petite man.
No, and I do like to eat, so I got a double portion.
So this is going to be a little tricky as we talk. And as you kind of get yourself situated, the big question I have when I talk to someone like you, what drives that selflessness? Is it something that was passed on to you from parents? Like, where did you just...
You know what? I will say this. I would love to take credit for all that I do that is some kind of, self-devotion, selflessness that I'm giving to my man. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy what I do. I love helping people. I get to go to some of the most awesome places, see the most genuine people who are, there's no airs, there's no attitude. People smile when they're happy. They frown when they're in pain. And I love what I do. And, historically, I have read many, many studies where they say that if the person who does the good deed more often than not gets more out of that transaction than the person receiving it.
Sure.
So I feel blessed that I can do this. I feel honored to serve, but I am having a great time. The rules are my rules. I make the rules, and that's the only way I would have it.
Based on your physical description, you compared yourself to the Big Show. I do believe that if you ever flip to the dark side, we should all be very afraid.
Well, the difference between me and the Big Show, he does it with overpowering. I have paralytic agents at my disposal. I have anesthetic. I mean,
you're like Batman.
Yeah, I could drop you in a blink of an eye. And the thing is, you would be there, you would be totally conscious, but you couldn't breathe and you couldn't move, and I would be there over you. So if I went to the dark side, I don't think people would be, they wouldn't have a chance, and that could be very evil very quick. That sounds kind of interesting, right?
I'm a little uncomfortable, to be honest. So when did you decide you wanted to go into medicine?
As a former athlete, I was a high school All-State and All-American basketball player back in the 80s. I thought it would be cool to be a sports medicine doctor. And then I realized what a bunch of, can I say the word pussy?
Sure.
What a bunch of pussies athletes are. They're wimps. the old school athletes, like I'm talking about basketball in the days of like Bill Russell, those dudes played with like blood with bones sticking out of their skin. They were tough. The new generation of athletes are a bunch of wimps. And as I hung out and started shadowing sports medicine doctors, I thought, you couldn't pay me enough to do this. But then I got a chance to go in the trauma unit over at Cook County. It was insane, man. I mean, dudes had their lungs sticking out. They had their chests wide open. People were doing open heart massage. They were, shot. They were being resuscitated. In many ways, I thought, man, these doctors are like God. They're bringing people that were dead back to life. I mean, I just felt that the power of those healers that I saw in that container was so moving to me. I said, I want to be that guy.
It does take a certain mindset. Most people, when confronted with human organs just splayed out in front of people, they'd walk in the other direction, but you walk towards that.
I just said, this is so fascinating, and it just, reminds you how brief life can be. Mm-hmm. And it was very humbling. And look, to do the job, I may be 6'10", 300 pounds, but the reality is there's a tremendous amount of humility that goes into doing this job, understanding that no matter how good of a job you do, patient may die. No matter how good of a job you do, the outcome may not be perfect, and you have to be humble. We don't pat ourselves on the back when it goes well. We don't cry when it goes badly. We are humble, and we behave in a way that is respectful, that is dignified, and that I guess is maturity. Because, I'll tell you honestly, I mean, over the course of the years with these trauma patients, we've lost patients. Sure. It was devastating to me. I cried, and I just had to gather myself and just not let it affect me in a way that was so deep and internal. And I just understood that I am but one man, and, we do what we do. But, I'm not trying to come off like Mary Poppins here or, like St. Dan. It's just, you have to have a humility when you do this work, because it's real, it's in the moment, and it's extremely, extremely emotional either way, and you have to learn how to contain it, because it can destroy you if you don't contain it.
Sure. I mean, for most people, a bad day at the office is the boss is a dick, things didn't go my way. Mm-hmm. For you, it's, we lost him.
Right, and it is, and we make relationships. Having done this for this long, I just had a young man who was in Peoria who had his leg shot up, exploded his knee, and two doctors down in Peoria said that they needed to amputate his leg. And his mom was here. She had read about me, and we had him brought up here to salvage his leg, and we did save his leg.
Wow.
But the thing is you make a connection with the family, you make a connection with the neighbors, the relatives, and it's very, very hard, because part of the healing power, and it's crazy, is they believe in you.
Yeah.
And so
you're all they have. I mean,
yeah. And you don't want to let them down.
Mm-hmm. I want to hear more stories like that. I want to hear more about the positive, like the things you walk away with and you think, wow, that's one of those moments I will never forget. When I write the book about my time doing orthopedic surgery.
I've got, but not all of them are like, we have those like really poignant and healing moments. We also have crazy moments, like, in a lot of ways, it's like, like working at Cook County, it's like a nightclub act. I mean, I used to have to go in there when I took care of like the inmates at Cook County. They gave me a lot of respect, because I told them, I said, listen, motherfucker, I'm going to be the son of a bitch that is going to have a saw in his hand and a knife, and you want me thinking positive thoughts about your sorry ass when I'm fixing you. They didn't say nothing to me after that. And I remember when they were on pain meds and they were harassing one of the nurses, I had to get a crowbar, and I went out there and got on the PA, and I said, listen, you jagoffs, be respectful to these women. They're trying to help you, and if you act like a bunch of jagoffs, you are going to get this. And I'd hold up their morphine and their pain meds. I'm going to pour this shit down the toilet and say, fuck all of you, and let you suffer in pain. So, that was, once again, as a doctor, You never want to go there. But sometimes, in order to become part of the solution, you got to become part of the problem. And they had the utmost in respect for me because they knew if they respected me, I was going to take care of them. Mm-hmm. If they didn't respect me, I was going to take care of them. But they wanted to be on my side because they knew, and I would talk to them extensively about things like karma, and they got it.
What's the worst you've seen?
For me, personally, the stuff that makes me insane is when there's child abuse involved. A couple of times I've had to ask my colleagues to take me the fuck out of the room because I wanted to strangle the parents. When I saw, when you see a kid coming in with a snapped femur, and you know exactly what the hell they did, and I'm like, you motherfucker, I'm going to show you what that feels like. And I'm like, dude, just get me out of here because I'm about ready to do some shit that's going to get me in trouble. And abuse of children is something that just is very visceral for me. And I do take care of a lot of kids, but I do not. I've stayed away from a lot of the trauma stuff just because much of the stuff that comes through those bays is children being abused by parents. And
yeah, I can't even imagine.
You can't even. It's just, the stuff that you see, and then they look at you like, I'm like, asshole, I know what you did. And you don't want to be the judge and jury, but I'm like, there's no way that the kid fell and did this. Spiral fractures of a long bone with a bruising around it that looks like someone's hand is abuse. I don't need, anything more, but you can't jump to conclusions. You got to be professional, and that's just the part that for me, I'm like, this kid had no defense against you. You're big, and now you need to get your ass kicked, and that's where I got to leave the room because it's just me projecting, and it's wrong, but at the same time, it's wrong to abuse your child.
For real. All right, so looking ahead, with all that you've accomplished, I mean, you've certainly made quite a name for yourself. CNN took notice. They recognized you. What's your goal? I mean, beyond the personal, I want to publish a book or...
Yeah, the book is fun. I mean, I love teaching. I realize that I can't do this forever. And I'm hopeful that, when all this is said and done, that there'll be many other young doctors that feel that they are empowering themselves with knowledge and passion to try and change the world for the better. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to do is just to find vehicles where we can share these stories and that are positive. And I'm hoping, medicine these days has really taken a turn for the bad. When I was a kid, it's just funny because, when we talked about I had mixed emotions about the CNN heroes because I just said, isn't this what every doctor's supposed to do? You know what I mean? It's like when I was a kid, doctors were all heroes. They did amazing stuff. And I said, isn't this something that we should all aspire to be? And I would just try to bring back the hands of time a little bit to a place in America where the doctors were heroes and the doctors were the leaders in their community. They weren't, dispensing narcotics to patients, and getting them hooked. They weren't doing unnecessary surgeries. They took care of the poor. They were leaders in their community. And I'm hoping that these young aspiring doctors or doctors in training that work with me or see me will hopefully say that, yeah, I dig him and I dig what he does, and I'm going to try and take a little piece of what he's doing and make that mine. And, book is great. Radio shows are great. Amazing shows like this to get the word out are fantastic. And, maybe if the stars are all in alignment, maybe a television show. That's certainly something that is in the works.
You're very photogenic.
Well, why wouldn't I be? Because, that it's the goatee.
It's clearly the goatee.
People dig the goatee.
Dude, it's 9 o'clock at night. We're recording this on Roosevelt. You got the beret.
Oh,
you
yeah.
got the shades.
Oh, yeah. I got the shades all the time. I got the beret. And, the beauty of it is that I created the outfit. So when I'm running late like this after clinic, if the band has a show at the club, I can get right up on stage with these threads and feel like no problem. I don't miss a beat.
I do want to talk about music, too. But it should also be noted, black is very slimming.
You know what it
others
is?
do.
It is awesome. You know, you can have a couple of bad days of fast food and still people go, "Did you lose weight?" I go, "I love you."
You may notice I'm wearing a Fitbit on my wrist.
Oh yeah.
I thought that just by wearing the Fitbit I would lose weight.
Yeah, you didn't read the instructions, did you?
Apparently, you need to exercise
Yeah,
too.
you got to walk and you got to get out. Yeah, I got chumped by that too. I thought if I put it around my arm that didn't work.
The pounds would just come off.
No luck.
And I get little celebrations when I hit the 10,000 step goal. It throws me a little party. It has a little fireworks show on my wrist.
A little like Hershey's chocolate bar pops out.
That's right. But no, it's not working. I just had that big sandwich and French fries, and I feel like the Fitbit's not doing a thing to help me.
Does it say what your cholesterol is?
No. Although, okay, here's the thing. I went to my doctor for a checkup earlier this year, and I made the mistake of having an Ice Quad Venti skinny vanilla latte before the appointment. My heart rate was abnormally high. My blood pressure was abnormally high to the point where he wanted me to get an EKG
Oh boy.
to check my heart rate. As it turned out, I was fine. I was a jackass for having coffee beforehand. Here's the thing about the EKG. As you know, Dr. Dan, they stick those pieces of tape on your chest so they can monitor your heart rate.
They didn't shave your chest, did
They shaved my chest.
Oh, good.
They completely 40-year-old virgined me.
I hate when that happens.
The doctor had me take off my shirt, and he said, I'm sorry. I'm going to need to shave you. And he shaved what was essentially a smiley face. What I learned is chest hair takes a much longer time to grow back than, say, the hair on the top of your head.
Oh yeah, what you got to do, I got a physical in preparation for my colonoscopy.
Oof.
And they did that with the leads. I'm like, so what you got to do is after they shave it, you got to go home and manscape your chest hair.
To kind of go down to that level so it all grows back.
You got to do it, and then about 2 or 3 weeks, it'll be kind of close. But if you leave it the way it is, it's like an 8-month project.
It was. Well, you mentioned your band a couple times. Let's talk, if you don't mind, let's segue to the blues. You are hardcore blues fan, blues performer.
I love it.
Talking about how much you love and our Chicago. I mean, what's more Chicago than the blues?
Well, the funny thing was that when I was young and playing basketball, usually as the lone white boy on the team, we practiced down on 83rd over in Avalon Park. And I would travel through parts of the city that, I never knew existed. We would go to, eat lunch, or we would go to Maxwell Street or go to one of the pubs. When we were 15, man, you could walk into any bar on the south side. They'd let you in. They'd serve you. I remember hearing music, and I'm like, wow, that sounds like Led Zeppelin. Or, hey, that sounds like Rolling Stones. I go, what is that? Who is that? Like, oh, that's Hound Dog Taylor, or oh, that's this. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not Led Zeppelin? And so as a 15-year-old, I was exposed to this music. And, being Mr. History and Mr. Chicago, I did a bunch of research and realized that this was where the blues became electrified. And Muddy Waters changed the world, literally the course of time, when he plugged a guitar into an amplifier. And, Chicago is a fascinating city because it's so muscular. It's so, this was this big industrial center, and this is where African Americans migrated from the South because jobs were plentiful. It paid well. And, relatively, Chicago was a good place to be relative to the South. And they brought this amazing music here, and it totally changed its dynamic and complexion. It was still the blues, but the electric sound was so amazing, and it was so powerful that literally these young punks down in London, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Jimmy Page, these were all guys that had their ears wide open. They were devotees of Chicago and the blues.
Well, when the Stones first came to America, they wanted to record at Chess.
I mean, to them, that was the definitive moment, when they got to meet their idols. They got to meet Muddy. They got to meet Chuck Berry. I mean, this, once again, we take for granted what we have here, but the rest of the world is literally in awe. I mean, people plan their vacations and trips to come to Chicago to hear blues music.
Although I feel like Chicago has been very dismissive as a city of blues heritage.
Yeah.
Just bringing up Chess as an example, you'd never know that it was an iconic space if you're just driving past it.
Oh no! Well, the thing that was crazy, right? When I was an undergrad at Northwestern, the weird like connection of the universe was the director of the animal laboratories was L.C. Thurman, and he goes, "Oh, he heard us playing blues in the lab. He goes, oh, you like blues? Come down to my club." He was partners with Buddy Guy. He was co-owner of the Checkerboard Lounge.
That's amazing.
But it was this little hole in the wall, right? It held like 30 people. But even back then, I mean, European tourists, they were coming here to pay homage to, Johnny Dollar, to Buddy Guy, to Junior Wells, to Lefty Diz, to, Killer Ray Allison. And, in Chicago, people didn't know about it. Buddy was an amazing, highly regarded blues man. But until Chicago realized that the whole world thought this guy was a genius, Chicago was super late to the party. And
Yep.
they had been very dismissive. You're right.
I mean, I feel like when you land at O'Hare or Midway, you should hear the blues.
The first thing when you step off the plane should be blue walls, blue sounds, blue vibe, because you're in Chicago.
Yes, exactly. Like when you go to Memphis, you get a sense of music. When you go to Nashville, for sure.
Austin, Texas.
Absolutely. Chicago, not so much.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing right now. What I am aware of is, 50 million tourists that came to Chicago last year? Many, many tourists come here for the music, and the city of Chicago is realizing that much of the money they get is because of the blues and the blues tourism. So they are getting behind it. But once again, about 20, 30, 40 years later than they should have.
For sure. So, all right, tell me about your band. Tell me about the Chicago Blues All-Stars.
I'm just I'm the biggest fan. These are all my friends that I've known since I was a teenager. When I was playing basketball, I was a huge blues fan, but I was not playing guitar yet. So I went to remember Chicago Fest when they had it on Navy Pier?
Yeah.
Well, in the early 80s, Muddy Waters was a headliner there, and someone tipped me off and said, Muddy and Johnny Winter are going to be playing together. So I was right there in the front row. Like, I love Johnny Winter. I love Muddy Waters. And believe it or not, I snuck backstage. I kind of talked my way backstage because I wanted to meet Johnny Winter and Muddy Waters.
Well, those 3 albums that
God.
they did, those are quintessential.
Well, when he his career resurrected, when he did King Bee and Hard Again, I mean, those redefined.
And I'm Ready, right?
Yep. And he was just a... he was the Mac Daddy of the blues, and I didn't get a chance to meet them because they were tied up with interviews, and it was a really big deal event. But I met this guy who was playing with them, who was the most incredible drummer I had ever seen in my life. The dude was literally destroying his drum kit up on stage. He had a huge, huge afro, and I go, "Who is that guy?" They go, "Oh man, that's Killer." I'm like, "Killer? Can you?" A drummer named Killer. And so we got to meet. He was like the nicest guy, Killer Ray Allison, who I just said, I want to learn how to play the blues. And we exchanged phone numbers, and we stayed in touch. He would invite me to gigs, and the one stupid thing, we were tight, and he called me one day, all spazzed out and crazy. He couldn't even talk. I said, "Ray, what's wrong?" He's like, "Man, you got to be here at the Checkerboard." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" He's like, "You got to come to the Checkerboard tonight." I'm like, "Dude, it's my birthday party tonight. I can't go there. My surprise party's tonight. If I miss my surprise party, my girlfriend will never forgive me." So he goes, "You don't understand, man. The Rolling Stones are going to be here
That was
tonight."
the show.
And I said, "Ray, have you been drinking?" I said, "What the hell are you talking about? The Rolling Stones at the Checkerboard? The Checkerboard holds 15 people."
Now, what you're talking about is one of the most iconic Chicago concerts of all time.
Of all time. And I said, "Dude, bullshit. The Rolling Stones are not playing." He said, "Man, the Rolling Stones are going to be playing with Muddy tonight." I go, "Muddy? Why'd Muddy play at the Checkerboard?" So I said, "Look, if I miss my birthday party, I'm going to have hell to pay." I said, "Give me a call tomorrow. We'll talk." And then what do? I pick up the Tribune, and I thought, oh my God, I am such an idiot. I did not believe this guy.
Why would you?
And, but what, 30 years later, they finally released it on a DVD. But for many years, that whole video was kind of like an underground thing. I had a copy of it. But it is one of the greatest concerts ever recorded in Chicago.
It's mesmerizing to watch.
And they are amazing. I mean,
watching the Stones walk up to the stage.
Like little kids.
Uh-huh.
They were in awe. Like, I mean, here are the Rolling Stones. I think that was a Tattoo You album. Mm-hmm. And here, I mean, I've seen, Clapton, I've seen Stevie Ray, I've seen Johnny Winter at the Checkerboard, but the redeeming emotion of all of them is like a kid at Christmas or a kid in a candy store. They're like pinching themselves, like, we are going to go up and play with Muddy Waters.
See, and I've said this before, that particular performance, any other room, any other place, Mick Jagger's the coolest guy in the room.
Clearly, and up there, he was deferential to his idol, Muddy. He was supportive. He was diminutive. I mean, Muddy's persona was big as a house.
Yeah.
But I mean, these were the Rolling Stones, but they were so respectful to their mentor.
Yeah, I can't stress it enough. This is essential viewing. If you are a fan of music, a fan of Chicago, I mean, it is everything.
I still watch it today and go, damn.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. All right, so how often are you playing? I know you're playing, we're recording this end of July. I know you're planning on playing all weekend. So when you're not operating and treating patients, you're gigging?
Well, here's the thing. I see a lot of stuff, and I've seen a lot. By all definition, with all the traumas and craziness I've seen, I probably should have PTSD, right? The way I take care of my mind and my body and my spirit is playing music. Blues is for me, and it's my full-time hobby. I got a great band. The Chicago Blues All-Stars are friends and people that I've been connected to for decades. And one day we just said, hey, let's create a project that pays tribute to all of our idols, all of our mentors in the blues, so that we can keep the blues going, keep educating young people about the music, keep showing our passion and our love for these artists that were so iconic. And it's been really amazing. I mean, it was very organic, but the CD got airplay on over, I think, 230 stations worldwide.
That's great.
And I think, my mission with the release, we did it independently because, a big mission of mine for healthcare is helping blues musicians who do not have insurance, who do not have good health care. All of the proceeds of the sales of the CD and donations that we accepted during shows, we gave over $25,000 to different musicians that were dealing with cancer, that were dealing with kidney failure, that were dealing with illness. So we got a chance to celebrate the music, to celebrate the artists, and also to help the community that we are a part of. So it was a very organic and very spiritual band that we're together with, and we're best friends. Like Killer Ray Allison and I have been buds since I was a teenager, and he's the co-founder and leader of the band.
I love it, and I didn't realize the charity side of that. That's really great.
Well, one of the things that I said, I don't take money from the band. I mean, we play, it's a 10-piece band. Some nights it's a 5-piece band. I'm like, look, I'm a doctor. Everybody that's in the band does this full time. So when we play, I'm there to support them because I can't make every show. I'm on call, every day. So they play 6 times, 7 times a month. I try to make it there as many as I can. But I just said, I am here to heal myself. I am here to contribute to the music and to enjoy it. But you guys take the money. I mean, this is why we do it. And I just love the music. And I like the concept that being the blues doctor, I love the blues doctor. There you go, maybe the blues. And then they know me there, Dr. Blues Doctor. And so I'm very appreciative just to have this music in my life, and it really completes my being.
So if people want to learn more about you, the band, your work, where can they go?
Well, I guess an easy way, just Google me. If you punch in Daniel Ivankovich, Ivankovich, a bunch of stuff will come up with regard to our pro bono work, our healthcare and healing, the music.
And some tasteful nudes. When I Google you, that's what I find.
You know what? I think that's a great place to start.
Dan Ivankovich, I'm a fan. I appreciate what you do as a doctor. I love what you do as a musician, and thanks for hanging out.
Am I going to be able to get out of this car? I think I bought this thing.
No, you're coming home with me. Sorry, we can't remove you.
Are we going to have to cut out the sunroof, man?
Jaws of life coming this way.
I got this seat reclined. I got this microphone kind of perched. I'm thinking, like, how the hell am I going to get? I mean, I had to really.
I hope you don't get a call. I hope there's no emergency tonight.
If you're driving,
Yeah,
you're going with me, and then I think I got to go out the sunroof here. But no, thank you very much. This is a very Chicago thing, and I've been listening to you since back in the Q101 days. So you're a iconic Chicago figure, and now doing this with Car Con Carne. This is awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right, Dan said I could do this. I'm wrapping up the show with a song from Chicago Blues All-Stars, his band that he talked about. This is a long one. It is an awesome one. It's Mad Hatter's Blues. I get to play music on the podcast this week. Awesome. Dan Ivankovich, Chicago Blues All-Stars. This is Car Con Carne.
You better count it. All right. Come on, killer.
On the one, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's about that time, man. Listen. We want to welcome you down to the Mad Hatter Blues Cafe. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We got it jumping off here, But just relax yourself and just listen to the conversation,